of this Broncos coaching staff. We've already handed out our grades. Underwhelming was kind of the word that was used on Friday for some of the hires, kind of overall. But who is the most important coach on this staff?
Easy answer to me.
Who?
It's Vance Joseph.
Yeah.
Sean Payton doesn't count again, right?
Yes, correct. No Sean Payton, because we'd all choose him, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So no Sean.
It's Vance Joseph. I think the Broncos are going to have the offense to stay in games this year.
Okay.
And they had the defense to stay in games last year. But I think several games are going to come down to getting a big stop at the end of the game. And the Broncos have had a sick habit of messing up these situations.
Not sick as in cool.
No,
Yeah.
no, like a disease.
Yeah.
Of messing up these situations over the last 6 years. And Vance Joseph was actually part of that. One of those rounds, 2 of those years, where they could not get the big stop in the big moment. And so there's going to be some really, really tough tasks. And obviously you got 4 games against Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, to be honest, if you're going to compete for the division, you have to win at least 2 of them. You're just not going to win them with your offense. Your offense is going to give you a chance to win them. You have to win them with your defense. And so I think Vance Joseph has a huge, huge task cut out for him. He does have a very talented group of players, but if he fails, the team's going down with him.
Do you agree, Henry?
I think it has to be. Like, you could make the case for some of the other guys because of whatever else situations going on. Russell Wilson stunk last year, and that needs to change. But just like a numbers thing, where Vance Joseph controls like 40% of the team, and then the other, like the 40% that's offense is like mostly Sean Payton. You give half of that to Joe Lombardi, and it's like 40-20, and maybe you need more on the offense, but it's not twice as much. Like, to me, it just... Vance's fingerprints are going to be on this team more than any other assistant coaches on this staff. And if this was a different situation and it was the offensive coordinator has as much power, then I would go with the offensive coordinator. I could go with like the quarterback's coach. With so many guys talking to Russell, it's split too many directions to say any of them is too important.
Yeah, and I understand what you guys are saying, but no, I have to stay on the offensive side of the ball. And Henry, you did bring up a good point about why it's not Davis Webb, why it's not Joe Lombardi, because Sean Payton's going to be calling plays. Joe Lombardi's kind of there in an assistant way. You could actually make the case for John Morton, the Broncos pass game coordinator. But again, he's really going to be working with Davis Webb, with Joe Lombardi, with Sean Payton. Those guys are all going to be huddled and, of course, led by Sean Payton. But I think one guy that's going to be more so on his own, dealing with a position that's up in the air more than any position on the team, is Zach Strief, the Broncos offensive line coach. You could make a case that the Broncos will have 4 new starters on the offensive line. Likely probably not 4, but potentially 3. 60% of their offensive line is going to be new. And obviously, we know that Sean Payton's going to want to run the ball to take Russell Wilson off the high dive, as he said in his opening press conference. He wants to take pressure off of him and make it so he's just doing easy things